Hi, friends. So I just got done editing the video that I recorded earlier for you today. And I realized in the beginning I did that thing where my brain is clearly looking for a specific word, but instead of pulling out that word, it finds a word very close to it. And this time I just made up a word altogether. Instead of saying injustices, I said unjustices. And I put a little note on the screen when I was editing it, like, why? Like, I was listening to it back and I was like, why did that come out of my mouth? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And something similar happened in a recent video. I said segregate instead of separate. So I just want to say thank you guys for being super cool about that and understanding. Like I said, I always have a lot on my brain and I am healing from a lot, as you'll see in this upcoming video. We're all just doing the best we can out here, but I just kind of wanted to get in front of it because I don't know. I just wanted everyone to realize that I know that that's not a word. I don't know. I didn't hear it that way when it came out of my mouth. I was like, man, I gotta start addressing this. People are gonna think I'm like drunk or something. I'm not. But you guys, thank you for being so cool about all my little word mishaps. And thank you for listening. Any moment, any little bits of your day that you spend with me, listening to me, I'm so grateful for. And I'm so grateful for you. And especially after having to edit these videos and listening to my own voice for hours on end, man, y'all are awesome. You guys are amazing. Thank you. And here's the video. Bye, guys. Enjoy. Hi, friends. I hope everyone had an amazing 4th of July. Mine was not so much towards the end of the night. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I had a post traumatic stressor response that kind of took me down a little bit for a couple of days. And if you're new to my videos, which a lot of you are, because I'm noticing in the analytics that we're just got a lot of new viewers, and I want to say welcome. I'm so happy to have you guys here. And this is actually a really good video for you to walk in on because you're about to find out why I have been utterly spewing gratitude towards everyone watching for the past 2 years. Well, my gratitude got more after about a year and a half ago, and that's what I'm going to explain. And if you're new, you should know that how I do this. I am a certified life coach amongst many other certifications. And I have experienced some things in the last 4 years. I have a lot of alienated parents that follow me because that was a big part of what happened. And if you want to know more about that, you can visit acourthousekidnapping.com. I did make a website about it 2 years ago because actually almost 3 years now. Because when you're desperate and you don't have anything, you go back to what you know. And that was what I knew. It's still up. It will always be up. And this will be a cause that I'll never stop fighting for because children are being harmed so that attorneys can drive fancy cars and live in nice houses. Irreparably harming children, other people's children, so that they can have nice things. It is the most disgusting, insidious level of greed I've ever seen in real life. And I experienced it. My daughter experienced it. And me and her are, working back to getting where we were after 4 years because of the crimes that these people committed and the lies that were told. But this video is not going to be about that. If you want to know more about that, go visit acourthousekidnapping.com and check that out. It's all there. The website has evolved. There's quite a few pages. And there's also a YouTube channel and a TikTok. And I want to encourage everyone when something happens to you, when there is an injustice done to you, to use your voice in every way that you can. Because it gives you back your power that was taken from you without your permission, without your knowledge at the time. Okay. These videos have been so incredibly cathartic for me. And I never, before all of that happened, I never anticipated myself sitting at a computer talking to strangers ever. And I'm going to tell you how that evolved a little bit more, and I'm going to tell you why this has been beneficial and saving in a way, in the most prodigious way possible. So you are important. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why none of my videos are scripted. I tried to sit down and record this yesterday, and it wasn't coming out the way that I wanted it to. And I could tell that I was still having some anxiety from Saturday night. And I don't ever want to give you guys anything but the best version of myself. I don't know how long my voice is going to last today, because it's already starting to crack. I do suffer from chronic illness, and that affects my throat a lot. It affects a lot of things a lot. And with this most recent kind of surprising trauma response, the last 4 days have been very hard. I'm recording this on Thursday. 4th of July was on Saturday. So when you have fibromyalgia or autoimmune diseases, a lot of you guys who suffer from them already know that even little exertions can put your body down. We live in these bodies that we kind of just have to work with when we can and be patient with when we have to. And this response that I had was the epitome of a post-traumatic stress response, and it's my job to do the work to make sure that that does not turn into post-traumatic stress disorder for me. And when I talk about these things publicly, you know, I'm a coach, I'm a mental health coach. I have plenty of credentials. I think it's important for people to see that you can tell yourself these things too. You don't always have to, you know, in my coaching, I teach people how to move on with their happy lives without my assistance. I give you the tools. I tell you what I learned and what I've been through, what I learned in school, what life has taught me, everything, so that you don't need me for you. I don't feel like we should have to rely on someone else forever for your mental health. I don't believe that as a coach. I don't believe that as a therapist. I don't believe that. I mean, yes, new things are going to arise that could absolutely benefit from talking to someone, but I want all of my viewers to know that when something happens, there is a way. There are ways that you don't have to let it hold on to you. You can let go of that trauma, even if it's still trying to hold on to you. And that can be very difficult. And I have been in a situation where that has been difficult. And I'm going to explain it right now really quick. And I want you guys to remember, there are still things that I cannot say, but I promise you that I will. And I've said in many of my videos that one day it'll all make sense when I'm able to say everything why I have been so grateful for you. It will all make sense. But because of certain circumstances, certain situations that I have not yet gotten out of, speaking publicly about them now could absolutely put me in danger. That's the only way to put it. It's the only way to put it without giving a whole bunch of details. So, real quick, I'm just going to give you kind of a very quick recap of what I was responding to Saturday. About 1.5 years ago, someone moved in here in this house. This person was incredibly troubled, more personality disorders than I've ever seen in one person. That's just my professional opinion. And just not a good person, just a nasty person, a bully at full capacity. And what do bullies do? Bullies pick on the weakest person around them, and I was targeted. I was very sick in the wintertime because my body gets very, very sick in the wintertime. And when this person was harassing me, and in a way with just daily threats of violence just for leaving my room. You guys see these dogs back here. You see them in every video. This is my family. I am their family. I am the only thing that they have. These dogs are not rehomable dogs because they're very nice. They're very nice dogs to people. But if one of these dogs sees your little dog is going to be a snack. It's why I'm so careful about, even when they go out, they are on harnesses. Our fence has holes in it that the other dog that stays out there can't get through, but these ones will. And I have to be so careful because they're great with people. And I did not know that they didn't like other dogs until we were living in the RV. And first the pickup truck, because of that 10-year annulment. Trust me, if you're new, follow on Facebook, subscribe on both the YouTube channels, because I have years of stories to tell from all of this. So, these dogs are not rehomable. They will be euthanized if they are taken to a shelter. And I refuse to turn my back on them and let them die the way that my family did to me after that 10-year annulment. I'm not going to do that. I'm better than that. But let me tell you that about a year and a half ago, the living situation here was so dire that it was to the point where I could not stay here. I would not have survived. I was 20 pounds lighter. I was skin and bones by the end of this happening. 20 pounds lighter, highly underweight, nothing to me. I did end up being able to go to my childhood friend's parents' house for a weekend, just out of fear to get away. There was nothing I could do because this isn't my house, and I couldn't leave when you don't have family. And at that time, around that time was when I found out that I wasn't even being recognized as alive by the country because something happened in the annulment where the IRS had a different name for me than what was on every single one of my IDs. This took me a year and a half to remedy because the way the IRS and DMV and everyone check your identity is by checking them against each other. I couldn't even get I had a 720 credit score. I couldn't get a phone from Boost Mobile because they don't sign up dead people. When we went in there, the girl, it was all together. The phone, everything was there. And she goes to the last screen and she goes, and I just see her just so confused. And I said, what happened? And she said, I don't know. She said, your application is coming back incomplete, basically. That's what the thing was telling her. That's what the computer was telling her. She's like, I've never seen this before. Why had she never seen that? Because dead people don't usually come in and sign up for funds or fund plans. They don't need them. That's why we have prayers. So, a year and a half, I was not even recognized as a citizen. The only people I could ever imagine this happening to, this kind of mix-up or problem, would be immigrants. And I was definitely born here in Virginia Beach General Hospital. I've never even had a passport. I mean, I've left the state, but I've never left the country. Anywho, it was just a couple months ago that they got everything straightened out, and now, things are starting to go back to normal, but I'm building from less than nothing at this juncture. So there was a roommate who was here, and They terrorized me because they couldn't terrorize anyone else. And I was so afraid that I was ready to send my dog somewhere where I know that they would be euthanized. There's too many dogs in the world that need good homes that can be around other animals, and they're good dogs. I don't know why they don't like other dogs and cats. I don't know. I think they think they're people. I think they might think that they are also us and they're trying to protect us from the others. I don't know. But it was that bad. I knew the way that I was being treated and the way how traumatizing it was every single day. I've never lived in that kind of fear before in my life. You would think being homeless for a couple months would be the thing that gives you PTSD. It would be the thing that gives me, no. We live in Virginia Beach. I was actually pretty safe in those Walmart parking lots. I mean, not, I wouldn't let my child sleep in a Walmart parking lot, but if we're talking about immediate danger, I don't feel like I was in any. It could have turned out different, but like I said, we live in Virginia Beach. It's one of the safest cities in the country. I do not have trauma responses from them at all. So this person, erratic, mentally ill, incredibly disturbed, targeted me. Here's the thing also about always being the least threatening adult in the room. Okay, I am always the least threatening adult in the room. I know this. I know it. I know it by my demeanor. I know it by my voice. I know it by my size. I know it by everything. And keep in mind, this person much bigger than me, about 3 times my size. I was already sick because of wintertime. And this person, this psycho, took advantage of that and just terrorized me every chance they got. Every chance they got, they terrorized me in a way that I was about to let my dogs die so that I didn't. I had lost, like I said, I was skin and bones. My nervous system was so shot. You guys know, if some of you know, I have narcolepsy and CFSME too. So I am supposed to take stimulants to stay awake during the day. During that time, I stopped taking my stimulant medications to keep me awake by choice as a way to protect my nervous system because I'm educated on PTSD. I'm educated on trauma. I know what kind of conditions create those lasting effects. And I was doing everything that I could to make sure that that didn't happen to me, that I didn't have any lingering reactions or trauma responses to this one individual. If you're new, you won't know this because you're new. And like I said, I'm glad to have you here. There was about 5 or 6 months when I stopped doing the advocacy for the parental alienation stuff. I stopped because the only thing that I could focus on was survival. And even if I had been able to see my daughter at that moment, there is no way in hell I would have allowed her to come over here to this house, no matter how much I missed her, because this person was not a safe person, and you don't bring your kids around unsafe people, no matter how much you miss them. Her safety always first, the kid's safety always first. And I had to focus on surviving. The only reason that that situation ended was because of a manslaughter situation. I swear to goodness, you guys, I swear to you. It wasn't one here, it was a peripheral situation, but that affected that person and they ended up moving. But let me tell you why you're so important. Because during that time was when I started to do live videos. And there was a reason that I was doing those live videos. I started doing those live videos because I wanted to be able to have every single one of y'all's eyeballs in here in this room at the touch of a button if I needed it. And it helped a little. Once people realized that I was going live and that there was an audience, a lot of the stuff stopped. A lot of the stuff that would happen right outside my door just to terrorize me. A alienated parent, already sad because I can't see my babies, doing everything I can to just fight for what's right. And then you have bullies, pathetic bullies, who see this person has a lot on their plate, I'm going to mess with them more. It's not a permanent situation for me. I'm not sure it's a permanent situation for any of us, but especially for me, this is not. This is just a stepping stone, and I'm very grateful for this roof. People don't understand. People who have families don't understand these 3 words together: nowhere to go. They speak perfect English until you say, well, I would leave, but there's nowhere to go. It's not a choice. Like, you need money and like bank accounts to get your own place. And if you don't have family, you know what I mean? So, and it wasn't like I was asking anyone to like take me in. Nobody can with these dogs. Not if they have other pets. And also, I'm not anyone else's responsibility. But I tell you guys how grateful I am for you. I've never told this story before. There's a lot that I haven't said yet. Because that attention wasn't vanity attention. It was attention that saved my life, in my opinion. Once they started hearing that I was doing live stuff, things calmed down a lot. Like I said, it wasn't what ended it. What ended it was someone losing their life. Once again, that didn't happen here. That's a peripheral situation. And we'll talk about that too, eventually. I am so grateful for you. And I needed to get up here and tell you guys all of that because you matter so much. And I haven't really been able to say why. They're not normal reasons why. Nothing that has happened in the last 4 years has been normal. Nothing. Saturday night, that person showed up here. It's been a year and a half. Almost a year and a half since they left. I thought I had moved past that. That fear that can't escape. There was nowhere to go, you know. I didn't have the option of moving. They showed up here again. And my heart immediately, I didn't see one firework because I came in my room and locked my door and I did not open it again. I was shaking. And that is a fight or flight response that is from post-traumatic stress. From the trauma that person caused in the past. Now, when you live in a sick body, there's chronic illness. Like I said before, and people who live with chronic illness already know this, even little stressors can take you down. All of my pages have been quiet since Saturday because I couldn't really move my body that much until yesterday. I was mostly in bed and I would try to pick up my body. It was so heavy. My voice, like, people don't realize the trauma that you cause people, especially if they're chronically ill, they will have to pay for that physically. I haven't really left my room that much since Saturday. So what do I do about that? Because they left. Of course, that person left. I don't know when they left because I went in my room. Screw this. You know what? And you know what that is? All right, let's talk about our nervous system. There are two parts of the nervous system, the central nervous system. We have the sympathetic nervous system and we have the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system job is to get you pumped up in the face of danger so that you can run away or fight if you need to. Okay? Your heart starts going fast. All of the blood goes from your stomach into your extremities, preparing you to run. There are many psychological and physiological things happening to you in that moment. And then we have the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system is the opposite. The parasympathetic nervous system is what is supposed to hop in once the danger is gone and calm you down, bring your body back to a homeostatic state. So what happened to me Saturday night was a physiological response from real danger that I had experienced in the past. And that is a trauma response. But it's not a disorder. PTSD becomes a disorder when your sympathetic nervous system gets stuck on. And your parasympathetic nervous system doesn't really kick in. It becomes hindered. This causes all kinds of problems in the body, and it causes all kinds of emotional and mental health problems as well, because your physiological state is saying, danger, run. The other night, when my heart started pounding and I was shaking and I came in here out of fear and did not leave, that was my nervous system and my brain saying, hey, you've done this. You've been in this situation before. Remember what happened last time? Remember how much pain that caused you? How much fear? Run. And that's what I did. What do I do now? Well, you guys, when someone horrible traumatizes you, because the truth is that there just are horrible people in the world. There just are. There's nothing that we can do about it. It is your job to do the work to fix it. If someone comes in your house and makes a mess and then leaves, guess what? You still have to live in that house. It's your job to clean it up. So after bringing myself down from that trauma response, which took a while, more than 24 hours, because my body was saying, this person lived here for 5 months, maybe almost 6 months. They didn't start targeting me until about 2 months in, because bullies are always going to target physically weakest person they can, especially if they're bullying with their size. The reason I lost so much weight was because I couldn't eat, because I was living in a state where my body was prepared to run, and I was living in that state 24 hours a day. I told you, I stopped taking my stimulants that I need for narcolepsy to stay awake for 2 months towards the end to protect my nervous system, because I knew that I was physiologically overexerted, psychologically overexerted, and emotionally overexerted, and that's what bullies want. It was so scary, and I promise you that one day in the future, hopefully not too many years from now, I will be able to give everyone all the details. I have learned so much here, but it is my job now to say, Jamie, no. It is my job, because if you can't change your surroundings or your environment, you have to look inward and find a way to adapt for that moment. It is my job right now within myself to renegotiate my relationship with that trauma. Not that person. No. But with that trauma. Because Saturday, was I safe? I don't know. There were a lot of people here, and there are people who would never let any harm come to me. I know that. But this person reacts so quickly. There were a couple times when I was attacked that nobody had any time to do anything about it, because they're just that erratic and psycho. So I'm very grateful for this roof, and I'm grateful for a lot of things. I'm very grateful for you, every single one of you. It is now my job to go in and do the work and clean up that mess psychologically that person's left on me. That's my job. It is my job to go in and renegotiate my relationship with that trauma and reframe that experience. You can go back into your memories and say, this isn't going to hurt me anymore. And that level of difficulty is on about expert right now because I'm still in the environment in which the trauma took place. And it's very, very difficult to heal and to accumulate a substantial amount of post-traumatic growth, because there's post-traumatic stress, but it's our job to turn that post-traumatic stress into post-traumatic growth. It is so hard to say really fast. I have to go in myself. Because remember, you guys, we can't change the world the way we want to all the time. We certainly can't change the individuals in it. We can do our job to better our communities, absolutely, and in each other's lives, especially in the wake of the fact that horrible people do exist. But we're not puppeteers. We can't go in and manipulate what everyone else is doing or thinking. It's simply not a power that any human has. And what else do humans not have? I tell you guys this all the time. What else do we not have? We do not have a crystal ball. And we don't have a time machine. None of us. Nobody. Can't see the future. Can't change the past. You just can't do it. Can't change what happened. However, you can change how you psychologically relate to what happened within yourself. And that is what I have been working on over the last few days within myself. Our mental health is our own responsibility. And there isn't always an exit right away. Sometimes you just have to keep your head down and work as hard as you can to change that situation. And that's all I can do. Take as best care of my body as I possibly can and work hard to change the situation until I can change it for myself. That's all we can do. The only person, you guys listen, the only person that any of us ever need to be better than is the person that we were yesterday. A little bit stronger, a little bit smarter. If you take your traumas and experiences and allow them to move you forward instead of taking you down forever, then you've won. Because you're benefiting from your blessings and your challenges, which I remind you guys to be grateful for in every video of both. So, for anyone who is experiencing trauma responses or has, I want to let you know that you are not alone. I do these videos and I talk about the things I've experienced, and I have no shortage of content forever. Nothing else could happen to me in the rest of my life, and I would still have no shortage of content to talk to you guys. I have so many lessons, so many learning experiences, and that's all we can do. And I tell you guys all the time, there are 3 things that we need to ask, 3 crucial questions that we need to ask when something happens to us or we see something that provokes any kind of emotion or response. What are those questions? What did this teach me about myself? What did this teach me about the environment in which it took place? And what does this teach me about the party or parties involved? And you take those answers and you learn. Human beings learn cradle to grave, baby. Cradle to grave. You do not have to let bullies run your mind or your psyche, and you shouldn't let them run your mind or psyche. Like I said, this is a situation that is not, even this living situation is not going to be one of permanence anyways. And physically, because I do live in a chronically ill body, I can only do so much to quell those physical reactions and physical repercussions that I have to deal with, just like every other chronically ill person does in response to stress or trauma. Mentally, it is my job to tell myself, this can make you better. I know it hurt, Jamie. I know it hurt. I know it hurt. I know it changed you. Let it change you for the better. Take back your power. Make it change you for the better. And that's all that we can do. And I'm surprised that my voice even made it this far. I would also like to say, if you've made it this far in the video, you have no idea how much you mean to me. This video is sponsored by my very own design of the Please Don't Fucking Touch Me hoodie, tank top, mug, apron, tote. This is my design. All of the designs on the New Generation merch site are, and my only request is to please don't wear the ones that contain profanity to church. Okay? Don't embarrass your mama or papa on my behalf, and don't bring me into your beef with God. Okay? I got my own questions for that guy. And probably don't wear it to court either. Be appropriate. But yes, this is the Please Don't Fucking Touch Me line, and let's all remember to keep our hands to yourselves. And like I said, if you're on Facebook, follow. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. And actually, if you're watching this on YouTube, this will be the first time ever that you guys are getting a little bit of a benefit that the Facebook watchers aren't getting, because pretty much everything goes to Facebook. That's my main platform. The others are just kind of little side platforms, little satellite platforms. But if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a video right about here at the end in just a few minutes, where I discuss a lot of the situation that I was just talking about still in very vague ways. It was about a year ago, kind of after it had ended. So I would do that, but I don't know how to make other videos pop up on Facebook. I only know how to do it on YouTube. With Facebook, I just put it on there and it does what it does. So if you are watching on YouTube, watch this video, and that it's a little bit of insight. Not a lot, because like I said, I haven't really been able to give a lot of details about everything that has happened because of proximity situations. Put it that way. So, you guys, I used to watch YouTube videos and they would be like, I love you guys so much. I would be like, how? Why? You don't even know, you don't even know us. We're watching you. You don't know us. I didn't understand what they meant. And I know that my gratitude, and when I say you guys have benefited me in ways that you don't realize, there's more to that too. You've kept me safe, and I do love you, and I'm very grateful for you. You kept me safe in ways you didn't realize that you were keeping me safe. And not safe from myself, from other crazy people. So, I want everyone to remember, what do we stay grateful for? All of our blessings, for bringing us peace, and every single one of our challenges, for bringing us strength, because we will allow those challenges to better us, not break us. We don't have to do that. Be stubborn. You can be stubborn with yourself. You can be stubborn with your own mental health and say, no, we're not going to do that. And I am certainly grateful for every single one of you. So thank you guys for being with me on this whole weird, bizarre journey that not in a million years did I ever see any, never. But it is what it is, you know? Can't always change circumstances. You can just work hard and do what you can to get out of those circumstances. And sometimes that takes a little bit. Oh, especially if you don't have a social security number for a year and a half. Yeah. Does put a bit of a damper on things. I hope everyone has a beautiful week, and hopefully you guys will be seeing a lot more content because, like I said, the last 5 days have just been, my mind was just blank. It's people who have experienced chronic illness fog, fibro fog, or a lot of chronic illnesses actually involve a very foggy mind, and there are lots of different reasons why that happens. All I can do is drink lots of water, take lots of vitamins, and do what I can to take the best care of my body that I can. We can only control what we do with ourselves. Tupac said it. He said, I can only control what I do. I can't control what other people do. He was right. Rest in peace. Okay. Bye, guys. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Beautiful weekend. Once again, thank you for watching. Always.